Welcome to the Pittsburgh Technology Council's Fireside Chats. And I'm Jonathan Kersting. And the only thing hotter than our fire back here are the awesome companies that we are profiling to this series where we are looking at the best and the brightest coming out of Pittsburgh's tech sector. They also happen to be Pittsburgh Technology Council members too, which gets me very excited. And I think we are kicking this thing off in absolute style because I have Journey Robotics here with me today. And I am very excited about this company because in my nearly 30 years of covering Pittsburgh's tech industry, I've seen companies come and go. But this is a company that has come from another company, which goes to show you that you can build something here. So we have Reeg Allen here with us today. Reeg, you were the man behind Journey. I'm too excited to tell your story today because it's pretty amazing. So thanks for hanging out with me with the Fireside Chat, to crying out loud.
Jonathan, thank you for having me. I really appreciate you taking the time to help tell our story.
Well, first and foremost, what about our awesome fire back here? Well, let's jump into the heart of this thing. First off, Journey Robotics. I mean, just give our viewers out there the elevator pitch what you're doing is I'm amazed with this. It is cool stuff, and I will never look at baggage handling the same again when I go to the airport.
Awesome. Thank you. We're working on airport automation, and the first problem we're tackling is baggage handling. It's a huge problem. In the U.S. alone, U.S. airlines handle over 500 million bags a year.
Whoa, back up. 500 million bags.
Takes a ton of people, and there's lots of opportunity for mistakes when you have a human-driven process. Lots of opportunities for injuries.
Lots of lost bags out there. How many times repetitively you're throwing stuff around? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, injury rates. Talking to U.S. airlines, they have to plan for 18% injury rates. They're happy if they're only hitting 10% injury rates.
My goodness. That's a staggering number. So how does Journey come in to mitigate it? Because this is a big problem, sure, across a massive industry. How do you help out?
Well, I don't know about how you pack, but when my wife packs for us to go to a Disney trip,
okay,
that bag is 50 pounds.
Yeah. So is 50 pounds this magic limit that we're talking about here?
95% all bags are rated that 50-pound limit because of the way airlines regulate or, put rules in. But the average bag weighs 40 pounds.
Okay.
You imagine throwing a couple hundred of those a day?
I get pretty ripped.
Or pretty injured. It's a young man's game, but our bodies are not meant to throw bags that heavy all day long. So the injury rates are way up there. And that's the acute yearly. The long-term damage is really bad. So in Europe, they've already realized that, and they're starting to create regulations that you have to have major lifting aids or it needs to be fully automated.
Right.
And so that's what we're coming in to do. We want to augment the human beings, allow them to do the problem solving they can do, and take off that heavy, dangerous, repetitive task off their shoulders and allow them to do the smart things humans do.
That's why I love automation so much. So I really got to ask you about the origins of the company. Because as I mentioned before, you've had a little bit of experience when it comes to starting a robotics company. Tell me about some of your past experience with RE2, which is probably one of Pittsburgh's most famous and successful robotics companies, automation companies. Tell me about that and how that led to the formation of Journey.
For sure. I spent 14 years working with Jürgen Pedersen at RE2 Robotics. He built an awesome company, spun it out in 2001, and ended up selling it in 2022 to Circus. But I was there for the final 14 years. It really helped him build it from a 22-person company to over 100 when we were purchased by Circus.
Yeah, we were so stoked just watching that growth to show that you can build companies like that here in Pittsburgh that employ that number of people and solve really tough problems. Now, rumor has it while you're working there, this was something that was kind of in your mind a little bit. Is that the case?
Actually, around 2018, Jürgen allowed us to start going from just military to expanding into commercial markets. And at that time, we ended up finding Changi Airport in Singapore. They did a worldwide survey. They're in the middle of building what they call Terminal 5. Their first 4 terminals, they're in the top 17 in the world in passenger traffic. And they're adding another terminal, they say. Actually, another airport. It's an additional 110 gates.
My goodness, that's an entire airport or two.
Singapore is an island nation. It's basically, you took Manhattan and turned it into its own country. It's only 704 square kilometers.
Okay.
So they're living in these massive high-rises.
Yeah.
They're a wealthy country, well-educated, and getting people to work out in 90-degree sheet out on the tarmac, throwing bags and servicing aircraft, that's a real hard thing for them to find. And now they're expanding to double their capacity.
They need automation, man, and they need it bad. So you're like, wait a second, I don't know how to do this.
So they found a CMU startup that knew outdoor mobile manipulation, knew how to touch things.
Okay.
A lot of our history from the U.S. military doing explosive ordnance exchanges with robots.
Yeah. It's all lines up for you, right? I like where this is going.
So we did 2 different project areas where we're working on underwing servicing, connecting things to the airplane, as well as baggage handling out on the apron. So grabbing bags from the belt loader and loading them and unloading them from the cars. So that's where we really got to know this. But then Sarcos bought us in end of 23. They decided to pivot. There was the big AI wave, AI software companies were hot.
Right.
They needed to get to a large market product fast. And they decided with their CTO's experience in software, and AI software in particular, that was the best angle for them.
Yeah.
And they stopped doing hardware.
And you're like, well, okay.
Exactly.
But you're like, I got an idea of some hardware, right?
That gave us the opportunity that several of us at RE2 had already learned about how to do aviation, how to move bags. And so I talked to the lawyers and they carved out the knock the beat and said, yes, you can go start a company around aviation robotics and continue. So that's
an amazing story. I absolutely love that because it's just like you're like on that launch ramp, which gives you such a competitive advantage compared to saying, I have this idea. I'm going to go try to build a prototype and I'm going to try to make these connections and do these things. You're in the thick of it. So you're able to just activate very quickly. So which has led to you working at the airport, our airport, as part of their X Fridge to test out your solutions. Tell me about that.
Yeah, they've been tremendous. Started off with, really allowing us to bring in our cameras and get real world data around bags and then prove our autonomy stat. That's where it started. And we're currently in the process of talking to them about installing our first unit at the airport.
Oh, that's exciting. I love hearing that. So working at the airport, I think it's so exciting because I look at the innovation at our airport that they embrace local startups. Like, yeah, come on in here, use our facilities and then deploy it. How far off are you from being able to do that?
We're real close.
Cool.
Hopefully the goal is to have an active working unit in the airport because they're hosting the World Innovation Summit May 13th to the 15th.
Oh, goodness.
Last year, this event had over 60 airlines and airports attend.
Oh, dude, the pressure's on. Come on, let's make this happen. Talk about having the world come to you. Yes. And your Pittsburgh technology doing what it does. Oh, count me in on that. Plus the new terminals opening up at the end of this year. I mean, we have cool technology in there. And to know that we have some Pittsburgh robotic technology with the bag handling. Yes. Awesome stuff. Very excited for you guys. You got to tell me about like building a company in Pittsburgh, like why that's a competitive advantage for Journey Robotics. I mean, obviously we've been recognized as pretty much the place to build, but there's got to be so many reasons why you chose to stay here in Pittsburgh to keep Journey doing what it does.
Pittsburgh's a great area to do robotics companies for a bunch of reasons. One, in particularly aviation robotics.
Interesting. Really refining this down. Get going on that. I like it.
First off, you have CMU. And all the talent around AI and robotics hardware, we get to harness that. We get to really grow that talent. Keith Gunn has done it for years, so we know, we got a small team now, but when we want to expand it, they're here. They're easy to get compared to other areas.
Good point, yeah.
Pittsburgh's an awesome region to live in, as we all know. We are Pittsburghers. We have great sports. We got a great environment. We got great entertainment and food. Great place to live. Then you got all the organizations that helps us. Pittsburgh Technology Council, the Pittsburgh Robotics Network, the Robotics Factory. All these types of groups are really helping us go from 0 to 1. Then, what you brought up before, X-Bridge and the airport. Having the ability to go to our local airport and to try things and to learn. You put it all together. It's going to be real hard for you to do that in Louisville.
Yeah, it's like a great pool to swim in.
Exactly. Other parts of the U.S., you could do it, but do you have all those elements? And that's really going to help us, excel this company.
Well, keep doing the backstroke and awesome tool here of robotics goodness as far as that is. I think that's just a competitive advantage. So you got to tell me a little bit more about this whole thing about like starting the company up and having access to all this knowledge and having been there, done that type of stuff. You've had such talent at RE Square. Tell me about some of the key people there that have helped bring this whole game like along the way.
Yeah, awesome. I'm an ideas guy.
Okay.
I'm the guy that helps get rid of the roadblocks when you go from conception to getting it to the professional salesman's hands. That's my piece. But you really need a great team to take any idea and turn it into something special. And that's where Keith Gunnett, who was the CTO at RE Squared, he's one of the, key founders of our company. He's leading all that technology, 30-year veteran, knows outdoor mobile manipulation experience. Can't do this without him.
Okay.
Next, we have Dave Lee. He was with us for about 5 years at RE Squared, but at least 30-year career in doing products, getting them out there worldwide. And then the jack of all trades, the real glue to the team is Aaron Nicely. He started off at RE Squared as running the shop, and over 15 years did product management. So how do you go from that concept to actually getting a machine to make it or get people to assemble it? He has that wealth of experience.
Like I said, you have such a head start compared to someone who's just like, I got this idea. Yeah, I'm going to grow it. And I also know that you have Jess Pedersen as well, too, who's been behind the marketing of RE Squared forever. Is having her as someone to help you go to market. I feel like you've assembled this team in the robotics world in order to get your product going. And the fact that hopefully in May, this is going to be something you can show to the world as they come in for this summit, I think. It's just freaking exciting. It's just, I think why you've been named like one of the top 10 startups to watch
for sure
by the Business Times. I get very excited when the Business Times starts doing stories like this to let Pittsburghers in the world know that there's some great startups here. Here are the ones to look at. And Journey is on that list. How'd that feel?
It feels great. I mean, it's a validation that we're on a good path.
Yeah.
Last year, going from 0 to 1, a tough thing to do.
Totally.
But getting that notoriety, that acknowledgement of our hard work is just awesome. And our team, we've got a been there, done that team that just, it's going to hit it. We're going to hit it hard.
It's an amazing story. And at the Tech Council, we're so proud to have you in the region doing what you're doing. So proud to have you as members of the Tech Council. Because we really want to represent, this is what's going on in our region. Companies like yours that are solving some tough problems. I can't wait to see what happens when this goes in the other heads of automation you're going to bring to the airport facilities, because I've learned so much around flight and aviation by working at the airport over the years on many of their projects. Well, I just see there's such an opportunity out there. And for Pittsburgh to be the leader of innovation around that, the stuff. I'm just saying. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Can't thank you enough.
I appreciate it. I really appreciate this opportunity to get our story out there, and I hope people gravitate to it and want to learn more.
Absolutely.
Reach out, come find us. We'd love to tell more people about it.
We got all your contact information in the right places so people can find you and learn more about you. Definitely encourage people to go to your website. They can really get the visuals on some of the actual automation as it works and everything like that. So fantastic stuff. As you can see, I get super fired about this. This is my passion. This is what I love. I come to work with this every day, and we have more of these coming at you pretty much every single month to keep coming back for these fireside chats. Simple as that. It's been Jonathan Kersting, and thanks again. You're the best.